If you're dreaming to moving to Germany and living here to work, then you're not alone. Since 2020, we have helped thousands of internationals move to Germany and find a job here. And after hearing and reading countless of success stories, we discovered a pattern. Most internationals come here in one of three paths. In this video, we're going to break down each one of these paths as well as their pros and cons. Hey, my name is Jen and I'm from Guatemala.
And mine is Yvonne and I'm German.
And together we're from simplegermany.com, where we create English content to empower internationals to settle into life in Germany more smoothly. Let's start with path number 1, and that is to move to Germany already with a job contract from a German company.
This is by far the most direct, most certain, but also most competitive and difficult way to move to Germany. The number one myth on this path is the belief that you need a sponsorship from a German company, like a visa sponsorship. This couldn't be further from the truth. Visa sponsorship does not exist in Germany. What you need is a German job offer and work contract. The company then needs to submit a few forms on your behalf for you to apply for your work visa, but there's no sponsorship needed in terms of finances and to prove that no German can do the job instead of you. That simply doesn't exist.
Now, of course, because this is the best path, it brings a lot of pros with it. For example, you move here with little uncertainty because you already know what you're going to start working in, which company, when, which city, etc.
What's your salary?
Exactly. So that means you don't have a financial break. So you know exactly when you're going to start earning an income. You can land here and start working almost directly. I mean, this is really the path that I took. And yeah, when I landed here on a Friday, I think, or Thursday, I started working on a Monday. So it's very quick.
And depending on the company that is hiring you, you might even benefit from relocation support, meaning that your flight and your move and maybe even the first month of your apartment are covered by the company. This is a plus, not a guarantee. And a lot of people also take this path without such a relocation support.
The one massive con with this path is that it sometimes is very difficult to get job interviews when you're living abroad. However, it is not impossible. Here are 3 real-life examples of people who have gone through this path. We have Jess, who is from Brazil, and she's a Scrum Master, and she got recruited through LinkedIn from one of the biggest supermarket chains in Germany to become a Scrum Master here in Germany. And she was in Brazil, the company was in Germany, and they managed to do all that, which was really fantastic.
Then we have Pablo, who's from Guatemala, and he is specialized in a very unique software. So that specific expertise also got him a job from abroad. He actively applied, got the interviews via online and got hired on the spot and then moved to Germany with a job contract.
And then there's Sumya from India, who is in finance and got hired while they were in India from an automotive company in Germany. It seems that the key to success for this path is to have a high in demand skill and also to put yourself out there somehow, either by applying from abroad or having an up-to-date LinkedIn profile.
The second path that is extremely popular is to move to Germany in order to pursue your master or MBA and use that as a stepping stone to then find a job afterwards. Next to upskilling, the pros of this path is that you could apply to scholarships and therefore don't need to save up too much money in advance.
Another one is that most masters and MBA programs in Germany are actually taught in English, so you don't need to learn German from straight off the bat.
And Germany is known to be one of the countries with extremely low, if not even non-existing fees for studying.
Another pro is that you get 1.5 to 2 years to learn German, which could be a massive advantage for the time that you need to actually go and look for a job, as well as you are living in Germany, so you get time to understand the work culture, have access to network events, and to actually use the university and their events and their network to potentially find a job after you graduate.
Another pro is that as a student in Germany, you're allowed to work part-time up to 20 hours a week, therefore supplementing your income and your cost of living, but also again gaining crucial real-life work experience in Germany, which is then a stepping stone to find a full-time job afterwards.
And another one is that after you graduate, you get a special 18-month visa for you to be able to stay in Germany and look for a job for 18 months. They give you up to 18 months.
It's actually a residence permit, really.
It's a residence permit that allows you to search for a job without having to leave the country. So you graduate, you can stay here and have a really long time, I would say, to find a job, which is completely doable.
In my opinion, this path is especially successful if you haven't just finished your bachelor and jump right into your master, but if you have real work experience beforehand and really use this MBA or master to upskill, because then you have work experience, a super strong degree, already presence in Germany, maybe advantage in German language, and all of this really puts you ahead of the game.
Yes, 100%. Some of the cons, though, is that if you don't get a scholarship, then you need to prove your finances to the German government to get a student visa. At the time of recording, this is roughly 12,000 euros per year. This amount changes every year, and you need to have this per year that you are studying in Germany.
But I think for the first time, just for the first year, and then you can
restock it. Yeah.
Or prove a part-time job or whatsoever. Another con is that, of course, this is a much longer path. And depending on where you stand in your life or career, this could be considered a step back. But often in life, we need to take a step back to then jump 2 or 3 forward. This means you really stop your career or job search for 1 to 2 years, depending on what kind of study you're pursuing.
And here are 3 examples of internationals who have successfully gone through this path. Number 1, we have Cynthia from the Dominican Republic, and I need to read what she studied because I don't know much about it. So she studied a master's in development management, nothing to do with IT, she needs to clarify all the time, and is now working as a stakeholder committee coordinator. Now, she is married and she was able to bring her wife with her while she was studying on a family reunification visa, which is pretty cool.
Then we have Joe from Bangladesh, who recently graduated with a master's in embedded systems. He used his time to study to actually own in on his German skills and is currently pursuing his job hunt for German-speaking jobs, which again puts him ahead of the small competitive English-speaking job market.
And then we have Rick from India, who graduated in a master's in electrical engineering and nailed a job in one of the big 5 semiconductor manufacturing companies in Germany.
If you're getting value and inspiration out of this video, please be sure to give it a like. And to receive more information on how you can make your move and settlement in Germany more smoothly, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell.
Okay, now path number 3 is to move to Germany with the intention to find a job. This means that it's an international that first moves here and then starts looking for jobs while they are in Germany. And this is possible. It is possible in one of 3 different ways. Way number 1.
The Chancenkarte. And that is a 1-year visa that you can apply for in your home country or your country of residence that allows you to look for a job while residing in Germany. And you're also allowed to work part-time up to 20 hours, pretty much the same rules apply as for the students. And again, you're on the ground to look for a job. If you would like to know more about the requirements of the Chancenkarte, please be sure to watch our video in the description where we go into details.
Yes, and talking about the pros, like you already mentioned, you're already in Germany, so then you have way higher chances to nailing interviews here and going for interviews. You can also attend networking events, job fairs, and actually just get a feel for the country and explore also which cities attract you the most to live in. One of the biggest recommendations we have for people in the Chancenkarte is to not be tied to one city, because sometimes opportunities are beyond this city, to broaden their job search outside of this one target city, because sometimes that's where the jobs are.
There's 2 main cons for the Chancenkarte. One is you need to prove your finances. And that is, at the time of recording, approximately 13,000 euros that you need to pretty much showcase before you can even get this visa. The second con is that this, of course, is a very risky path, depending on what you perceive risk and what you don't perceive as risk. Because there's no job guarantee. There is no guarantee whatsoever. If you are unlucky and don't find a job within those 12 months, and you also cannot extend it or find any other way to stay, then you will unfortunately have to pack your bags and leave again empty-handed.
We have heard many successful stories of internationals moving here with the Chancenkarte and nailing a job. One of them is the story of Lavanya, which we go into way more detail in a dedicated video, which you can also find the link in the description box below. The second way to achieve this path is to actually get your German citizenship through family heritage.
Correct, and there's actually so many that do that. Literally, I cannot give you a number, but we know so many really where, especially in married couples, the partner has the German passport through their parents or grandparents. And this is one of the easiest ways to move to Germany because you jump through all of the bureaucratic hoops and hurdles.
You don't jump through.
Yeah, you jump ahead of them. You don't need them. All you need is really move here on whatever terms you decide and then go find that job, which again is a lot easier because you have every right to work wherever you want.
Yeah, so this passport allows you not only to move to Germany, but anywhere in the EU. And all you need to do once you land is do your Anmeldung, which is your city registration, and that's it. You're off to the races. There's zero bureaucracy involved, and that's how you enter yourself in the system. And to give you a concrete example, we have Brian from the US, who he reclaimed his German passport through Ancestry. And then he moved here, did the Anmeldung, and in a few months he found a job at a restaurant without having to speak German, and he is happily here living as a German citizen ever since.
Then there is a bunch of other couples. For example, Alina and Pedro. Alina has the German citizenship also through her family. They decide to move to Germany. Pedro, who has the, let's say, skills in a more demand job, found the job here without any stress while, being married and having the family reunification visa through Alina, and all easy peasy.
The third way is the 90-day visa-free stay gamble. I want to emphasize on gamble here.
That is correct. If you have a passport from the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Israel, or the Republic of Korea, you are in an advantage that needs to be played right.
This advantage is that you can enter Germany as a tourist and start your job hunt here. And once you have your job secured, you can actually exchange your tourist visa for a residence permit from within Germany. This is a massive advantage because there are other countries that can enter Germany without a visa. However, they cannot do this transaction within Germany. They need to go back to their home country to obtain their work permit and then move again to Germany.
To obtain a work visa and then come back to Germany, get the work permit.
Exactly, if you want to be ultra specific about it.
Yeah. However, we would like to put a massive disclaimer for this path because 90 days is a very tight time to actually secure a job contract.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mention that usually this entry is for 90 days. And you can stay usually 90 days in Germany in an 180-day period. So all these countries have this, except for one country, of course. There's always exceptions, and that is Australia.
Correct. If you have an Australian passport, then you can, again, come here for 90 days. If you have not secured your work permit yet in that time, you can leave Germany, for example, take a flight to London, and come back within 24 hours and get an instant 90 days again. All of the other countries mentioned need to wait in London 90 days before they can come back to Germany, which some are doing. We know a few examples.
And do you need to stay 90 days or 180 days?
No, 90 days, because 90 days plus 90 days is 180 days.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
The majority of people who move with this strategy, they expect to do the following in just 90 days. And that is to apply for jobs, obtain interviews, gain a job offer, and then exchange the tourist visa to a work permit, residence permit, in just 90 days. However, the reality in Germany when it comes to actually processes looks very different. Mainly because German companies take a longer period of time usually to recruit people, and 90 days tends to not be enough to fulfill all of that. It's really hard.
So this path is high risk. Again, depends on what you consider risk and what not, but there are no guarantees. You need to, of course, finance your stay individually, and it is really I believe in myself, I can do this move, which please go for it if you do. Just know the warning signs and have a plan B in place. How do you say that?
In place, yeah. Another thing is that you cannot work in Germany during this time, so this needs to be fully financed by yourself to be able to survive here, or live here, not survive, but live here for that period of time. And if the 90 days are up, then you also need to consider how much money you need to actually fly out of Germany or take a bus or train or whatever, stay somewhere else.
It needs to be outside the EU.
It needs to be out of the Schengen zone, and then come back to Germany. So all this obviously requires, I would say, quite some financial backup.
This way makes only sense if, again, you are highly skilled with experience and ideally a degree, depends a little bit on what you're doing, in a high in-demand area. And as Jen already mentioned, of course, some or enough financial backup. Now, despite our many warnings, a lot of people still pursue this path and are successful. Sugata, for example, from Australia, came here with this path and nailed job. However, as a fair and honest disclaimer, he needed to take that stint in London to enter with a second 90-day period and then was able to, start working.
We also have Andy from the US who also pursued this path, and also it wasn't successful in just 90 days. He needed to extend that time. However, he was able to land a job in the south of Germany as well as an IT expert. If you're still watching this video, it's most likely that you have the goal to nail a job in Germany. To help you achieve that, we have a video that goes in detail on how to adapt your CV to German standards to increase your possibilities of nailing that interview and hopefully that job offer. You can check out the video here on the left. Until next time, cheers! You're not alone. We've helped thousands of
You are not alone. I am here with you.
everything from scratch.
Oh, Laura.
Because otherwise it's too cut, you know? And here we can have our disclaimer with our elevator music, bitte.